What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be building an e-commerce business from scratch. I'm literally going to be going over every single detail you need to start your own e-commerce business, and I'm going to be showing it completely transparently so you guys can copy along and follow what I'm doing so you guys can implement it in your own e-commerce business. I'm going to be showing you guys how you can find your viral product, build your store around it, and create your own advertisements, and then how you can get those advertisements profitable. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this video, but before we do that, if you guys do enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up because it really helps the channel grow. And if you guys do get this video to 1,200 likes, then I'm going to create a little document that will literally walk you guys through everything that I'm saying and give you guys a little cheat sheet that will help expedite your process to profit. Before I show you the fundamentals, you must understand the strategy we're going after today. We're using the one product store strategy. Essentially, this means we build our stores around a singular product and focus the branding to accentuate the perceived value. Why we do this is simple. We want to look like an established and trustworthy e-commerce brand. With all the scammy stores online right now, this will give us a huge differentiating factor and allow our product to stand out amongst the competition. Not only that, but we'll be able to charge more for the product and benefit from the ease of logistics. One product equals less work and more time focused on growing the business and making profits. By using this strategy, we're able to use saturation in the market to our advantage. For example, if 10 other stores are selling the same product and they haven't successfully used this strategy, our store will stand out amongst the competition. This will make our store look like the originators of the product, which is exactly the reaction we want. Now that we understand this simple ideology, let me show you exactly how we can find a product to create our one product dropshipping store. Okay guys, so the strategy we're going to be utilizing today is super simple. All you need to get started is your Facebook profile. So let's hop into my computer and I'm going to show you guys how this works. The first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to find a dropshipping ad. So for example, this is definitely a dropshipping product. Most products are dropshipped unless you see like a very branded store like this Vibe Percussion. You can see that the logo is over here. So this isn't a dropshipping product, but this one definitely is over here. So I'm actually going to open both of these products up over here, and we're actually going to be tricking Facebook into thinking we're one of their top customers. So once we get onto their website, we're going to want to make sure that we have this Facebook Pixel Helper downloaded. All you need to do to get it downloaded is head over to Google, type this in, and it will install onto your Chrome extensions. And once you have it installed, whenever you're on a website, you can see that this little part will light up and there will be this little green box. So we're going to want to click through to it, and there's going to be this drop down called View Content. If you click that, then there's going to be this content ID section. We're going to want to take this number inside the brackets and we're going to want to copy it, bring it to a notepad, and I'm going to leave this code for you guys down in the description. We're going to want to enter that content ID right inside this X over here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to copy this whole code over here. And now this is where it gets really fun. We're going to add this product to cart. And once we've actually added it to cart, make sure you go to checkout. And here what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to right click and hit inspect. Once you're on the inspect section, you can come over to this developer tab over here that says console, and all we need to do is paste this in and click enter. So two things are going to happen at this point. This undefined section over here means that you successfully fired their Facebook pixel. So what that actually means is that it tricked Facebook into thinking that you actually bought this product. So when we refresh our Facebook feed, we're gonna have tons of winners in our feed. And just to verify that we actually fired this pixel, we can come back to our pixel helper and you can see that there's this green check mark on purchase. So the reason I also opened another tab over here, because it's good that we do this with two products. All we need to do on this one is rinse and repeat the same process by taking the View Content ID over here, by putting it back in our notepad and just entering it at checkout. So once you've done that, what you need to do is just refresh your Facebook feed and you're gonna see the products will get a lot better and a lot more frequent. So if we scroll down, we can already see this a winning product over here with 3,000 likes, and that's the first ad we've seen. So this is really gonna give us intel in every single product that we see that we like. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna come over here and hit these three arrows, and we're just gonna wanna save the video. And what's gonna happen after you do this for about 10 minutes or so, you're gonna have a list of winning products compiled, because the thing is, if they're running ads on Facebook, it likely means that they're already profitable with these products. So you don't have to go out there and test random new products. You can find products that are already validated and you can utilize their data to start testing ads. So once you have these products compiled, you're gonna wanna come over to this saved section over here, and you can see there's tons of different ads that you'll have saved at this point. So what I want you to do at this point is pick your favorite product out of these. One of the ways that we can identify which products are best is by engagement on them. We can come to the comments over here, and if we sort by the newest, and we can see if they have a ton of comments coming every few minutes or so, then it's definitely a winning product. Over here, you don't see too many comments, so this definitely isn't a viral product that's making a lot of money right now. But if we come back to our saved, we can come check this eye laser stage light, and we can see that this product over here has tons of comments. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna filter by the same exact strategy by just going to the newest comments, and let's see if there's a lot of comments on this one. So we can see there's a comment 51 minutes ago, and we can see that there's a comment 52 minutes ago. So that's a really good sign. If we see a couple comments every hour, it means that there's a lot of ad spend on this product. So for today's example, I'm gonna be choosing this product. It's the KTV 9-eye laser stage light. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna open this tab up, and we're gonna wanna make sure that we save it over here. And once we found this product, what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna find this on AliExpress over here. So usually what you can do is just you can copy some of the text over here, the laser strobe light, and we're gonna wanna open a tab for AliExpress over here. And we can just search this up in the search bar, and let's see if we can find the exact same product. Okay guys, so that was easy enough. Here we go. There's a few different listings for it. So we can actually see this, the cheapest one at $51.20. And you can see that they have tons of good images on here, and it's the exact same product that they're selling for $149. So guys, that's really good margins. That's 3 times the product cost on this product over here. So now that we see the listing, we can see, all right, this product's $51. We know that we could get away selling this for $149 because their Facebook ad is scaling like crazy selling it at this price. So we're gonna wanna keep this link opened up, and then we're gonna wanna start our Shopify trial. So I'm gonna get on Shopify, start a trial for this store. I'm gonna show you how we actually build a store around this one product. And the biggest rule of thumb here is that we want at least 3 times the product cost. So for example, if this product's $150, we wanna be getting it for around $50, so our margin's as high as possible. And trust me, this might sound like quite a bit of margin, but once you're going to advertise, this is gonna come in handy, because at the end of the day, the person with the most budget to spend on advertising usually wins in the Facebook auction. So that's why you need to take this really seriously. So after you found the margins are good and match the 3x rule that I'm talking about, what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna copy some of this information over here off AliExpress. And what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna head to Amazon, because the reason we're gonna go to Amazon right now is because we wanna check out the reviews on Amazon, because at the end of the day, it's really important that we sell a product with good reviews, because even though it seems like you could get away selling a low quality product, it's gonna come back and bite you in the butt. And in this whole course, I wanna teach you guys how you can do things correctly, so you don't have to go through customer service errors and just getting a ton of bad feedback. So we can come on different Amazon listings and we can try to find the reviews. For example, this product doesn't really have any reviews, and I didn't really see any listings that did have reviews. But for example, you're gonna wanna look at these reviews, and if it's over 3.5 stars, it's usually a very good indication that it's a good quality product. One other thing that I love to do is I love coming and actually reading these reviews, because they'll help us increase our conversion rate on our landing page. So for example, you can see any issues people have if you go down to the 1 star. So for example, you can come look at these reviews and they'll help increase our conversion rate on our landing page. So for example, when people are talking here, they're talking about how things get very hot, the light's small, and it's powerful and trippy. So basically, these are different things that you could use to improve your landing page. Basically, talk about how powerful the light is, talk about what type of experience they're getting, and if we read through a lot of these, we'll see why people are actually buying this. So this is really good to save, so when we start creating our landing pages, things will be super simple and easy. So after we picked our product out and we made sure the margins are good and it's a high quality product, the next thing we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna start our Shopify store. So I'm gonna show you guys how we can actually build our store so we can attract the most customers for the cheapest cost. Alright guys, so after you've started your Shopify trial, the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to head over this app tab and come to the Visit Shopify App Store. We're going to be downloading an app called Oberlo over here, and what this app is, it's basically going to connect AliExpress to the product we're selling, and basically when an order comes in, it will fulfill it automatically, and we're actually able to integrate the photos directly to our website, so it's going to make our life a lot easier. So I'm going to add this app really quickly. It's going to take about a second to populate, and while it's actually loading, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to come back over to this theme section. This is just the template that we host our website on, and Shopify actually comes with a ton of free themes, so you can actually check through these themes and see if any of them catch your attention. My favorite is actually this debut theme over here, so we're just going to stick to this for a free theme. If you guys want something a little bit more high tech, then you guys should check out my gem page tutorial. I'm going to leave a link over here for you guys to see how you can design some amazing landing pages, but for this video I just want to get you guys off the ground and understand the basics of creating a good website. So once you go into the customize section, we're going to be able to design everything from scratch. But the first thing that we're going to need a logo, but we actually haven't even figured out our domain name. So what I do for helping me figure out my domain name is using a website like namemesh.com. If you see, there's this search bar over here, and we can literally come in here and we can type in any 2 keywords or 3 keywords, and it's going to populate all these different ideas for us. So for example, they have all these ideas that we could choose from, and you could just scroll down and see if something works for you. Like I like this one, Raven Tech. That actually sounds really high tech, and it sounds like it could actually be something that's involved with raves. So what I'm going to want to do after I figured out the name I'm going for, I would go on canva.com, and basically what we can do on Canva is we can create a logo in like 30 seconds. I like creating text-based logos, so we could just come over here and we could call this the Raven Tech, and then we could just change some of the colors out. So I think this purple color scheme would do really good since we're like going for this cool rave vibe over here. And we're just going to delete the background, and then I'm going to save this as a transparent image, and then we can just crop the rest of the photo out so we have just the logo right here. So then we're just gonna save this and we'll be all ready to go. So after that's done, let's come back to this and let's add the logo and let's see how it looks. Okay guys, so there we go. I just added the logo and it actually looks pretty clean. It's not obviously the best logo in the world, but you don't need a crazy logo to get sales. What I want to do is really get you off the ground and help you focus on what's really important in your store, which is optimizing for conversion rate. If you don't know what conversion rate is, basically it's a metric that identifies how many customers out of 100 actually make a purchase. So for example, if 2 people out of 100 makes a purchase, you have a 2% conversion rate, which is actually pretty decent according to Shopify standards. I like aiming for about a 3 to 4% conversion rate, because literally if you're at a 2% conversion rate and I have a 4% conversion rate, that means that I'm making double the revenue that you are. So just really try to understand how important conversion rate comes, and a logo's not going to change that too big. So now that we have our simple logo in here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add some type of banner image here. So one way that we can find nice images is obviously Shopify has this really cool feature where we can just type in free image. So I'm going to see if anything comes up on Rave. So unfortunately this image gallery isn't that robust, but we can also use a website like pexels.com, and usually you can find like anything inside of here. So I just typed in Rave and we can see this image looks really good. So we're going to want to save this as a 920 by 1280, and once it's done downloading, we can just come back to that library, we can drag it in here, and the image will be ready to go. And let's see how this one looks. So there we go. That really gets their attention. It matches the same purple branding we're going after, so I really like this image. And then over here we can just write a couple things that catch the buyer's attention. So we can say the best personal rave light, and then I'm gonna put make your house the star of the party. And it's really simple. What we're gonna mostly focus on here is the product page. The home page doesn't matter all too much, but obviously we still wanna make it as good as we can. So in this button label section, we can just put shop now, and it's gonna populate a button once we connect it to something. So I could just say, go to all collections over here, and you see it's black right now, but we're actually gonna wanna change that out. So how we can do that is we can come over here to this color section, and we can change the button color. So one thing I highly recommend you do is you come back to Canva and figure out what color you actually use to create your logo. And as you see, I'm using this purple color, but I need to figure out the actual color combo. So I can copy this, I can come back to that Shopify listing, and I can simply just copy it over here. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna have the exact same color scheme as our logo, because we really wanna make sure that we create congruency when we're doing things, because it will make us look a lot more professional. And now that this section's done, I recommend taking the time and just changing some of these random colors out. So the sale price, we want that to match this purple color. And then I think we're about good right now. So now that we're done with that, what we can do is we can come back to that section over here, and we can put a little announcement bar over here. So what I like to use this announcement bar for is to announce what type of sale we're running. So for example, as you saw on our competitor's website, they're selling this for 50% off. So what we could do is we could put 50% off site-wide. And we're gonna wanna check this show announcement bar, and you can see it come up over here. And we're gonna wanna change that bar color to whatever our congruent color scheme is. And actually, just to make this look like even a better deal, I'm gonna put plus free shipping. And I'm gonna remove that. And what this is gonna do when any buyer comes onto our website, they're gonna see, okay, this is 50% off plus free shipping. So psychologically, they know that they're getting a very good deal. Now, the reason I'm actually designing this entire website on mobile is because that's where most of our customers are gonna come. So I highly recommend you do the same and you optimize for the mobile buyer, because most of your customers will be visiting from that platform. Now in this section over here, I'm just gonna wanna add an image and then some headline and some cool text over here. So one way that we can find images is obviously off that AliExpress listing, and sometimes it's a little bit annoying to download these images one by one. So you could use this little Ali Save tool where you could just literally go and click one button and it's gonna download all the images to your feed over here. So that literally took like 10 seconds, and now we could just come over here and we could add any images we want. So I'm just gonna add a few of these images. So when we're designing the website, we can just click and go. So I'm gonna choose this image because I think it really catches their attention. It shows like the different features of this product, and it really shows how cool of a product this is and what a big effect it makes. So after you've selected your product, we can just put a headline over here. So I'm gonna put the Raven light is perfect for, and then what we can use this section for is just some different bullet points. So if we want to figure out how to put bullet points, all we need to do is come over to this website, emojipedia.com. So basically we can just take some emojis from them, and I'm just going to take the check mark because green's definitely a trustworthy color, and we can just type this in over here, and we could just put some different benefits relating to this product. So if we want to figure out how to do that, we can obviously come back to that AliExpress listing and we can look for the different features that they're actually offering. So we can take this over here, we can copy this and we can paste it. I highly recommend you actually reword it yourself, but for today's example, I want to keep things going and quickly so you really understand the core fundamentals. So as you see, this is way too long. We definitely don't want something that long over here. So I'm going to delete that, and then we can come over here and we can say home parties, and then we're just gonna wanna bold this over here, and let's see how that looks. And the reason I made this section is I wanna catch buyers' attention who don't know what to do with this product yet. So they're seeing what this is perfect for. So if they like throwing home parties, this is definitely gonna catch their attention. So I'm gonna do a few more sections and I'll come back with you guys in a few seconds. Okay guys, so there we go. I just made 3 sections. We have the home parties, your business, and basically I sold it as turn your business into the talk of the town. In seconds, you can actually have this product up and working, and it will attract those valuable customers. And then the next one that I put is dance time. So if people love dancing, then this is also going to catch a different buyer pool. So this is really important that you do something like this and you describe some of the different usage cases for this, because someone might not be able to see why they would buy the product, but if they see, oh, dancing, they can think my daughter loves dancing, I'm going to buy her this gift. So this is a really clever way to increase that conversion rate. And now that we have this section done, let's just make sure we save this. You want to make sure periodically you keep saving your landing page, because the worst thing that could happen is that your browser crashes and then you lose all your hard-earned work. So as you see, there's another section that looks almost identical over here. So we're just gonna wanna add another image. Let me try to see an image that describes a little bit more of the features. So we can see this one, it's a powerful heat dissipation. So what we can do is we can use this to describe the feature and the benefits of why this feature is good. So always remember, you don't wanna just talk about the features. Features basically mean that you're talking about how the product has 9 different settings. What you wanna actually talk about is how those 9 different settings can change the vibe and mood if you're feeling happy, sad, so people will be like, oh, that's actually really awesome. So really focus on describing the benefits and how they relate to the features, and this really improves your conversion rate than just talking about how the product has different functionalities. So I'm gonna add a few sections over here, and I'm gonna come back with you guys and show you guys what I did. Okay guys, so there we go. I created 3 sections over here, and basically over here I said 9 settings, 9 different ways to party. So if you see how I actually position that, I'm explaining how this feature is relating to the benefit, and I'm talking about how they'll never run out of party ideas and their friends and family are going to be begging to come back to their house. Now the next section over here I say is the most versatile light you have, and I describe some more use cases. So DJ, disco club, KTV, ballroom, bar, stage dances, and I just list a bunch of different stuff over here. So for example, if someone's a DJ, they'll see this and they'll be like, oh, okay, this is a perfect product that I could put into my arsenal. And then the last section over here, I found this cool photo that basically says powerful heat dissipation, and basically I just said keep it running all night, and I said with our powerful and efficient fan you'll be able to keep the party going. And then I just put a little shop now link over here. What I recommend if you really want to sauce your landing pages up is you go on a website like Fiverr and you pay a designer to actually make some custom graphics for you, because honestly this graphic doesn't look really nice, but if you pay someone like 10 bucks you'll be able to really improve the quality on how your page is gonna look. Now after we've gotten that done, I'm just gonna wanna save this, and actually I'm gonna remove everything else in here so we don't need this collection because we're only selling 1 product. I'm gonna remove this as well, and then I'm gonna remove the testimonials because we're gonna actually put some reviews in the aftermath, so we'll remove those. I'm gonna remove this gallery, and the last thing over here, there's gonna be this newsletter section. So we can just come to the footer, make sure everything looks good. We're gonna actually put our menus in the aftermath, so let's not worry about that right now. But now that we have this whole section done, we're gonna wanna actually get our product page linked up. So we're gonna add this section, and we're gonna say featured product, because once we actually put the product up, then they're gonna be able to buy directly over here. So we'll leave it for us after we've added all of our images from Oberlo. So let's come back to Oberlo, and I'm gonna show you guys how we can actually link this really easily. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is just throw a password in over here, and we can see add a product. So what I'm gonna wanna do is click explore products, and you can just type over here. So let's go back to that listing and make sure that we can find it. So let's just grab that, let's copy it into this section, and it should show up. Sometimes you'll have some errors. And if you actually have that error, you need to actually download this Chrome extension. And it's really easy, to be honest. We're just gonna wanna open a link and say Oberlo Chrome extension. And let's see, it should only take us a minute or so. So I'm gonna come back with you guys after it's fully done. Okay guys, there we go. I just actually pinned it over here. So now all we need to do is click this button and we can add it to our import list. And what we want to do now is head back to Oberlo, and it should actually be in our import list right now. So let's refresh this. For some reason it hasn't come up. So I'm just going to type the product URL in here, and it should also add it. So if you don't want to add the Chrome extension, so this is another way you can do it. So now what we can do is we can change some information over here. So I'm going to be naming this the Raven Light, and then we can add it to any collections we want. So I'm just going to put in the home page, and then the description, we're just going to remove this for now because we're not going to be using the AliExpress description. You don't want to do that. That's like one of the worst things you could do. And then we're going to come over this section over here, and you can see there's a lot of different information here. And basically there's the US plug, the AU, the EU, and the UK plug. So we're definitely going to want to leave that, but we're going to want to change the prices up so they correlate. So I'm going to put $149.99, and we're going to put these in each of the sections. And then over here in the compare at section, we're gonna wanna make sure that it's 2 times the price, since we are saying this is 50% off. So we could put over here and say $299.99, and I usually like ending my prices in a 99 just so it rounds down to the nearest dollar. And after we've done that, we can just want to check over here and make sure we have all the images we want. So let's click the plus sign on all the good images. And after we've added all the images we want, just click import to store. And all it's gonna do, it's gonna take a second or so, but this product will be imported directly into our Shopify store. And we can just click edit and it's gonna direct us over to that product we made. So you can see how simple that was rather than adding all the images manually. And if we actually wanna view this, we can come click through here and we can preview what it's looking like right now. And obviously we haven't added any product description over here. The product description is literally the biggest thing we can do. So for today's example, since I just created all that copy over here, I'm just gonna put it back in the product page. I recommend that you differentiate these a little bit, but since I already have these set up, I'm not gonna take the time to do a whole nother section on that. But after we have these in, I'm just gonna click add an image over here, and I'm gonna add that exact image we had, and we can just center this up. And after we have that image, what I want to do over here is I want to put how the Raven light works. It's really important that you describe the functionality of your product because some people won't actually understand how products work. And since we have this header over here, we can come to this formatting and we can put it as an H2, and then we can just center this up. So then we could put some more bullet points over here. So for example, we could put one touch setup, and I'm gonna wanna take that off bold, and we could say simply, and I'm just gonna knock this out, come back with you, and I'll explain what I did. Okay guys, so basically I put over here is one touch setup. So I explained how the product works, and then I'm just saying it's self-cooling and it has 9 settings. So that's a pretty simple section I put over here. And the last thing I'm gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna come through to the AliExpress listing, and I actually saw they have a bunch of really cool graphics over here. So I'm definitely gonna wanna save this, and I believe they just have a ton of cool graphics that we could use. So I'm definitely gonna wanna download almost everything I can over here because these images really sell this product. Okay, so now that I have all these images, I'm just gonna add them up, and I'll be back in a second and show you guys how this looked. Okay, there we go. I just added all these images over here. AliExpress actually did a really good job with this product. So I'm gonna save this. We're gonna see how it looks. For some reason, I think these images came out really poor quality because I just zoomed them in really far. But like I said, we could obviously have a graphic designer recreate these because they see what it is over here. So it's really simple to do this, but I just wanna show you guys what I have so far. Yeah, you can see the image quality came out pretty bad. Obviously, I'm not launching this, but if I was, I would definitely want to recreate this, but you can see how good this product page is already coming along. Now, the last thing I would do with this product page is I would come back to it and I would put some type of guarantee. So we could do another header over here. So our guarantee, and then we're just going to want to put this as another header, and you could explain the type of guarantee you have. So in my opinion, I recommend doing some type of 30-day guarantee because customers will feel really safe when they actually do come to your website. So I'm just gonna put your purchase is backed by our 30-day no questions asked refund policy. If you don't absolutely love your Raven light, then send it back for a full refund. So what we did in this section is we actually took any of their fears and we answered them for it. So that's what this section's for, and usually I would put an FAQ at the bottom over here. So I would also just make another header, and you could blow this up on header number 2. And then what you could do over here is you could just do some bullet points. So you could come to the bulleted list and you could put question, and then you could just answer it. So for example, if the question is, how long does the light last for? We could just answer the question. We could say, the light lasts 3 years and is backed by our 5-year warranty. So obviously I don't know how long this product's been backed, but I would talk to the supplier, and answering these type of questions will really help improve your conversion rate. And like I talked about earlier, going on that Amazon listing, it will help you answer these FAQ questions, and you could also implement them into the landing page over here. So for example, if customers are asking like if the product cools down or not, you could answer it in one of these bullet points, and then they'll be able to see when they're browsing on the website, they'll be able to see, okay, awesome, this product does what I want it to, and they won't have to reach out to customer support, because usually what we want is a customer to take action right then. So this type of strategy will really greatly improve that. So let's just save this, and we're gonna wanna come back over to that theme section, and let's see if it finally got set up. Okay, cool, we just need to link this. And as we can see, this homepage is pretty much done over here. But one thing that we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna go to the product page, and we're gonna actually wanna click buy it now, because we need to go to checkout page. And what we're gonna wanna do, we're gonna wanna add our logo and our color scheme into this checkout page, because this is the only way you can do it. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna put our logo in, and then we can just change the color scheme up, the button to our beautiful purple color. And now we can just save this. And the last thing I want us to do is I want us to put some different policies on the footer, because this will really improve our conversion rate. So what we need to do now is we need to come over to the navigation. If you see, we've actually set up no menus. As you can see here, there's just catalog. So that definitely doesn't look trustworthy. So we're gonna wanna come over here to this page section, and we're gonna wanna add some different pages. So for example, we could put a contact us section, and we could put, if you need any help, we are just one email away. Send us an email, contact@ravenlight.com. And obviously you would want to improve upon this a little bit, and you could talk about how much time it actually takes to get a hold of you and answer some of their questions here. And then we can just save this over here, and we're gonna wanna add a few other questions. We're definitely gonna wanna put a standalone FAQ page. So for this section, you could take all those FAQs that you're writing on the actual product page, and you could just copy them over here. So you could put your FAQs, and then we're gonna wanna save this. And usually one other section that I like creating is like an about us page, and you could just talk about why your company is cool and what you guys are doing. So for example, for our Raven Light, we could say we are curators of the most amazing personal rave lights in the world. We started off in 2020, and you could just write a little story about how you guys started off. You can dramatize it a little bit, but this will really improve trust if someone's coming on your website and they want to read about it before actually making a purchase. So definitely do something like that, and then we can save this, and we're going to want to do a couple other things. We're going to want to put a refund policy over here, so we can just write out that entire refund policy that we put in our product page. So I'm just going to go down, I'm going to copy that, and then we can paste it over here. So if people are looking for that page, then they'll definitely be able to find it. Now what we're gonna wanna do is come over to this little navigation bar, and we can come to this main menu first, and we can put Raven Light, and we can just link it directly to the product page. And we can apply changes, save it. And then there's a few more menu items we're gonna wanna put in here. So we can just click this plus sign, and then we can go to the pages, and we can find those pages that we made prior. So I would usually put an about us over here, and then next what I would do is I would come back to the pages, and I would try to put your contact us. One other thing that you might wanna think about doing is put a track order page in here, and how you can actually do that is find an app. If you just put track order in the App Store, then there's a few different tools that you can actually do. And what this will do is it allows customers to not leave your website to actually look through their order. So I definitely do recommend doing that, but this is pretty much all we actually need for the main menu. So we're gonna wanna save this, and then we're gonna wanna come back to the navigation, and we're gonna wanna jump into that footer menu section. So over here in the footer menu, we're going to want to do a few different things than we would do in the main menu. So let's click add a new menu item. And what the footer menu is mostly for is just information about your company. So the first one I'm going to put is contact us, and then we could put the FAQ. And then we could put the refund policy, and then I'm going to throw the get Raven light in here again, just in case they want to go directly to that page. So let's add that. And like I said, you could also put a track order over here, but this is a pretty solid footer menu over here. So we're going to save this, and this is pretty much going to knock out the entire menu and structure of our website. But now that the bones of our website are pretty much done, what we're going to need to do is we're going to want to come to the Shopify App Store, and I'm going to go over a few different apps that we can actually use to improve our conversion rate, because like I mentioned before, conversion rate is so important. So I'm going to hop onto the App Store and show you guys some of my favorites. Okay guys, so there's this app over here called Vitals. So we're gonna add this to our store. It comes with a 30-day trial, and this is not sponsored at all. The reason why I really recommend this app is because it literally comes with like 30 different apps that you used to have to download separately. So it's gonna make your life a lot easier, and it's gonna save you a lot of money because this is only $30. So it's actually asking us to add a credit card. So now let's start our 30-day free trial, and let's hop into the app, and I can show you how we'll actually use this app to improve our conversion rate and what features are really cool about this. So as you see, they have all these different links for different apps that we can get downloaded. So for example, they have product reviews over here. So we're really going to want to use this because you can actually import reviews from AliExpress. So if we come over here and we go to the Raven light, we can go directly back to that AliExpress link we had, and we're going to copy that. We're going to paste it in here, and it's just going to import all the reviews from there, which is super nice that they have this functionality built in. So you can see that all the reviews from that listing are just right here already. So that's really cool. And obviously we don't have the best reviews here. So if you want, you could write a few reviews out to make it a little bit more believable, but that's definitely not something you have to do. So then let's head back to the dashboard, and a couple other the features that we would want to use is if we want to do some upsells over here, we could do some product bundles. So obviously we only have one product on this store, but if we wanted to add a few more products that are congruent to what we're selling, this could definitely help improve our average order value. So this is a really good way that we can use it. And as you see, you can just follow along, and it only takes a few seconds to set it up. But some of the ways that we could increase conversions is we could come over this convert more section, and they have like an animated add to cart. You can put different shipping information on your product, and you could also put a countdown timer. So I wouldn't use countdown timers too much unless you have like a specific sale going. Like if customers know that there's a 24-hour blowout on your store, that's when sales counters do really well. But if it's on your store all the time, then it's definitely gonna look a little bit spammy. And then one of these cool features over here is stock scarcity. So we could say when the inventory is below 10 units, then what's gonna happen is there's gonna be this little preview over here that says hurry, there's only this amount in stock. So this will be really cool. So if you're running low on your stock, then this app will just let customers know that they need to buy now, and that's the scarcity we really need to make customers take action. And then a few other features that I would use over here is the cart reserve timer. So if you click through to this one, it will basically tell the customer how much time they have left to actually go make that purchase. So this will also provide some scarcity to make customers actually take that action. So if you see over here, we can say there's a countdown for 10 minutes, and we could say that the items in their cart are in high demand. So this will really help customers take action. And then the other apps that I would actually recommend in this is a shoppable Instagram feed. That's really cool. And then also this Wheel of Fortune. This is really clever because what you can do over here is you can customize all this different information over here. And after 20 seconds, this app will pop up. And basically what it's gonna look like, something like this, and you can put different sales in each of these bars. So when a customer goes to this, they can click a button and it's gonna spin the Wheel of Fortune, and it's gonna land on one of these little pieces of the pie over here. And in each of those pieces of the pie, you can have different promotions. So for example, you can tell them that they won like 20% off, and people love winning things. So these gamification apps really help improve conversion rate. And I definitely recommend you try one of these out, because what this also gonna do, it's also gonna help us collect those emails. And we can set up all the different promotions in here. So if we want to put 20% off, or we could even put like a $15 gift card. So that's really clever over here. And we can import all these emails when they come into an app like Klaviyo. So Klaviyo is a really cool app. What we'll actually use Klaviyo for is we can set up a few different parameters in it. So when customers do abandon their cart, we can send them like a whole email flow, and they actually have pre-populated templates in here. So I'm not actually going to build them in front of you today, but there's also welcome sequences that they already have like set out for you. So I definitely recommend you guys use this, especially in conjunction when you're collecting those emails from the Spin to Win app. Now, one other app that I definitely recommend you use is this app called SMS Bump over here. What SMS Bump is you can actually set up abandoned cart for SMS. So for example, when someone leaves your store, we'll actually be able to send them a text message like, hey, what's going on? You left your cart over here. And it's gonna send directly their phone number. So inherently the open rate is gonna be much higher than email. And I guarantee if you don't use this app already, you need to put it in, because it's definitely gonna increase that conversion rate. And when customers drop off, they'll know that they need to come back to make the purchase. Now, the last app over here is definitely subjective. You don't need to use it, but if you have a lot of customer requests coming in, we're gonna wanna download this gorgeous app, because it's just the best tool to manage customer emails and any customer support related inquiries. And what's really cool about this app also is that we can integrate it directly into our Facebook and Instagram page. So if we're getting messages on both of these platforms, then we can manage them from one system, which just makes our life so much easier, and it allows us to add different representatives. So if we have a customer service team, then it'll just be so much easier to scale, but I'll talk about that later. What I want to show you guys right now is how we can get prepared for advertising. So the two different methods that I'm going to be showing you in today's lesson on advertising is using Facebook and Instagram influencers. So if we are going to be running Facebook ads, then we're going to actually need a Facebook ad. So the first way to actually get that is just go on a website like Fiverr over here, and you can see they have like unlimited video editors that we could find. So we could just type in video ad, and we can see that there's all these different sellers, and they're about $30. If you want an expensive commercial ad, I don't recommend that, but it's $170. What these sellers will do is they'll find different clips online, and they'll compile them, and they'll put text over the screen and make it look like it's a really cool ad. So for example, we'll click on this one, and I'll show you guys what the ads actually look like. So this looks like actually a pretty good video editor. So you might want to check this guy out. Shout out iChat. So definitely check this out if you have a few extra dollars and you don't want to make the video ad yourself. But if you do want to make the video ad, then I'm actually going to show you guys how you can do it pretty quickly right here and right now. So I'm going to hop into my phone and we're going to start building our ad. If you don't want to watch this section, I'm going to put a timestamp that will fast forward to when we actually start getting to the Facebook advertising section. Okay guys, so the first thing that we're gonna wanna do before we even start trying to create our video ad is come up with a solid script. So this structure that I'm gonna be giving you, I'll leave it down in the description somewhere, but basically this will help you organize and create your video ad so you have a good script when you actually write this. So I just wrote this one out in just a few minutes. Basically what we always wanna start out with is hit them with a hook. So this one is bored of your house, and then the solution is introducing the Raven light. So what this is doing psychologically, it's providing a solution for their problem. So if they're already bored at their house, then they're gonna see this and they're gonna think it's ultra targeted to them. Now after that, we just wanna put a couple benefits here, and how I actually found these benefits is pretty much the same benefits that we put in our product page. So if you see, we're pretty much reusing the content we already have. We don't need to go out and reinvent the wheel. And after that, we just wanna put some social proof. So telling them that people all over the world are loving this product. Usually what I would do if this product had more reviews is I would actually put the reviews in the video ad, but I'm going to show you guys how we'll implement this in once we hop into my phone. But the last thing we always want to do is add our call to action. Now that we've set up our structure, we're gonna have to start compiling some clips. So usually what we can do is go on AliExpress, and as you see, there's this video over here. So people might not know how to download this, and it's kind of difficult to get it downloaded. But what we're gonna do to download this is click the inspect button, and then we're just gonna wanna click Command F, and we're gonna wanna search MP4. We're just gonna wanna click MP4 and see if we can find anything. And over here is this link, it says MP4, and usually it's on Taobao.com. shopifydropshipping.com. That's where they host these videos. So we can just open this in a new tab, and this link should let us download it directly. So we can just click download, and it's gonna start downloading on our computer. So now that we have this clip, we're probably gonna wanna take some of these images over here and send them directly to our phone, because we're gonna be editing this on the phone. The phone software is actually a lot easier than on the computer, and that's why I'm gonna be doing it today. So there's this image downloader that I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna take a few of these images over here, and we're just gonna wanna download them really quickly. And then once they're done downloading, what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna find any stock or B-roll clips on Pexels. They have all these really cool videos that we could take. So we could click here, and there's just like endless videos that we could use in this section. So I definitely recommend, if you guys need any filler content or B-rolls, you'll use it here. And it might sound a little bit confusing right now, but once we actually hop into my phone, things will seem a lot more clear. So I'm gonna hop into my phone right now. I'm gonna show you how we'll put this all into conjunction and create an actually pretty solid video ad in just a few minutes, just using our phone. Okay guys, so the first thing we're gonna wanna do is download this app called InShot. They have it on iOS and Android. So once it's done downloading, we just wanna click create a new video, and we're gonna wanna bring all of our clips and photos that we actually just downloaded. So I'm gonna let this populate in, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna cut these up. So the first thing that we're gonna wanna do, we're gonna make sure that we're on this 1:1 ratio. So just click the check mark over here, and we're gonna click X to remove this watermark. They're actually gonna let us remove it for completely free, which is one of the really cool reasons I love this app. So now that we've done this, we're gonna wanna zoom our clips in so they actually get the ratio we want. So as we can see, we have this clip right here, and I'm just gonna click check mark, and we're gonna wanna actually start adding our text. So the hook was board of your house. And if we go this color wheel over here, we can change the label. So if we want it to be black, we can do that. For the purpose of today's video, we're doing this purple color scheme. So I'm gonna change it to this over here, and we can just arrange it how we want. So now that we have our first scene, we're gonna wanna have this only about 3 seconds long. So we can just click the check mark, and we're gonna wanna split this right here, and we're gonna wanna get rid of the rest of this video because we actually don't need it. And now that we have the hook ready to go, we're gonna wanna go to our next video over here, and we're gonna wanna go back to the canvas section to make sure that the ratio actually is proportionate. So I'm gonna zoom this in a tiny bit, and we're gonna go back to text, and what we can do is we can just click duplicate this over here, and we can change the text out, and this is where we're gonna be putting our solution. So we're gonna say introducing the Raven light. And then let's just make sure the sizing works, and yeah, that looks pretty good. We probably want a little bit more spacing in between the words, but we have right here already board of your house, and then introducing the Raven light. So maybe one thing I would do is I would actually come over here, and I would split this and probably make it a little bit shorter because that board clip's a little bit long. And now we have this entire video over here. So I'm gonna come back to this text section, and I'm gonna actually duplicate that one more time. And I'm gonna actually shorten the introductory part because we wanna get straight into the benefits so we don't waste their time. So what I'm gonna put in this next section is our first benefit. So that one is turn your home into a rave with the click of a button. And let's just center this up, make it look how we want. And now that we have our first section made, I'm gonna wanna rinse and repeat this with the other benefits. So let me get this done really quickly, and I'll come back with you guys. Okay guys, so here we go. I finished the video ad, and as you can see, we introduced the hook, then we put the solution in, and after that, we just went over a few benefits like I showed you guys in the script. One thing you guys are gonna wanna look out for is that all the benefits match the specific clips. One thing I had a hard time with was actually finding different clips for this product. So that's why using one of those editing services is actually advantageous. And obviously this video ad is not perfect by any means. I'm definitely not a video editor, but this is just showing you how easy it is to use a tool like this. So I definitely recommend that if you don't have the budget yet to actually create a video ad yourself, that you use some program like InShot. All right, now that you have your ad and website ready to go, we want to do a couple more things before we launch those juicy Facebook ads. So let's hop into my computer and I'll show you what we need to finish. So I'm going to show you guys how we can set this up with the best practices. So first we're going to need to set a page name. So obviously we're doing the Raven Light, and then you can set your category as retail, obviously, because we're selling products direct to consumer. And then when we use this description over here, we want to talk about some of the unique selling propositions of our product. So for example, the Raven Light is a portable rave light that turns any home into a party. So that's the selling proposition. It definitely catches their attention over here. And then we can click create page, and then it's just gonna ask us to put some images in over here. So firstly, we need a profile picture, and I usually don't recommend putting a logo in here. Sometimes it can be advantageous if you have a brand, but if you're doing a one product store like this, I recommend throwing one of the images in off your product page. So for example, we could try an image like this over here, and it's gonna catch their attention because they're gonna be able to see like what the product is when they view the profile picture. So when they're getting advertised on it, they'll be more likely to actually click through to your profile picture if they decide to. Now the second thing over here is you must have a cover photo. So luckily Canva makes it super easy. If you just go back to their dashboard, you can see that they have all these different types of assets you can choose, and there's a Facebook cover over here, and there's all these different pre-populated templates. So if we type in rave over here, you can actually see that they have a template that is for raves, which is pretty ironic. So I'm going to delete some of this information out, and we're going to want to put our logo over here. So I could put Raven, and then over here we could put lights, and then in this section I'm going to put bring the party with you. So then we're going to want to put our logo. So give me a second, I'll come back after our logo's done. Okay guys, so there we go. I just slapped our logo down in the corner, and obviously you could change some stuff out. Like if we wanted, we could put some type of lifestyle photo over here. So I could type in party and I could see what different images they actually have in here. So let's try something like that, and we'll just blow this image up a little bit. And then what we're probably gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna change the filter, and we're gonna wanna make all these images show. So we can just click backwards till everything shows up. And then we can just adjust some of the color scheme over here by bringing the brightness down, and you can see this actually stands out pretty good. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna download this, and we're just gonna wanna upload it into that section over here that says add cover photo. So now that it's uploaded, obviously we're gonna wanna save this, and we're gonna wanna make sure the proportions look good. So that actually looks great. We can check it out on mobile. It actually looks pretty professional, and I made it in like a minute. So you guys should definitely do this before you start advertising. And then we're just gonna wanna save this, and it's gonna take us to the actual page dashboard. And over here, we're gonna wanna do one last thing before we start advertising. This is something a lot of newbies don't do, but you wanna create posts on your page, because when people actually visit the page, you wanna look like you didn't pop out of the ground. So what we can do over here is we can just take a couple of those images, and then we can just make a post saying like, Raven Light is the best portable party tool. Grab yours here, ravenlight.com. So what we want to do is we want to make at least 3 or 4 posts, because when people scroll down our feed, they're going to be able to see like, okay, this page is active. And not only will customers be able to see that, but Facebook actually prefers advertisers who do focus on organic presence as well. So this will definitely give you an algorithm boost. So I definitely recommend you take the time, throw like 5 of these posts up, and you're just going to look a lot more legitimate. So now that we have this done, let's hop into Facebook ads and let's launch our juicy campaign. So right now I'm going to be expecting that you already have an ad manager or a business manager. Right now I'm just using my personal ad manager. So what we're going to want to do is obviously we're going to want to click this green button to create a new campaign. And we're going to want to click the conversion campaign. A lot of these campaigns don't really matter. You would think that reach or brand awareness would be good for a beginner, but at the end of the day, most of these considerations don't do much. The only ones that I really use are conversions, catalog sales, and you would probably use engagement on some retargeting ads, but that's a little bit more advanced, and I'll be going over that later. So now that you've chosen catalog sales, we want to make sure that we name this campaign. It's very important that we do this. So what we're going to name this campaign is testing phase cold traffic number 1. So this lets us know that this is a testing phase and this is a cold traffic ad. So if you don't know the difference between the different types of campaigns we run, we break it down into cold traffic, which is people who haven't heard of you before, warm traffic, people who know your brand, so people who have visited your website or seen the ad before, and then hot audience. A hot audience is people who've either added to cart or purchased before. We're going to go over that later in the retargeting, but what we're going to be focusing on now is just the cold traffic. So now we're just going to click continue. We can just ignore this for now, and what's going to happen is it's going to create a new campaign for us. So now what we can do here is we can choose between a campaign budget optimization or the standard ad set budget optimization. It might sound a little bit confusing, but the only difference between the campaign budget optimization is that it spends at a campaign level. So for example, if we have 5 different ad sets in that one campaign, then what's going to happen is Facebook's going to be able to optimize for the highest converting ad set. So if you have $50 on the campaign level, it's going to take that budget and funnel it mostly into the ads that are getting the most results. But if you do set this up on the ad set level, then what's going to happen is it's going to spend the same throughout all the ad sets. So it's important that you do use CBO, and a lot of people don't recommend testing this way, but I'm going to show you a couple settings that will help increase our ROAS when we're actually testing with the CBO. So the daily budget really depends on obviously what your budget is, but what I recommend is you do at least 5 to 10 times your cost per acquisition. So for example, if you're selling a product for $40 and you have a $30 profit margin after your cost of goods, then you have a $30 cost per acquisition. So we could either start it off at $150 or $300. $150 is definitely enough budget to get us started. So we're just going to say $150 over here. And since this is a new ad account, we can only spend $50. So we could just drop this down to $50. That's completely okay. Obviously, it's not recommended, but with the higher budget, we just get results quicker, which helps us validate the product even quicker. So now that we have the campaign done, we're just gonna wanna hit next, and it's gonna take us to the ad set section. So we're not gonna name it yet. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna make sure we create a Facebook pixel. So you can just click this button, and it's gonna take you through a couple settings where you can actually install this pixel. And where you actually install it is just hitting online store, going to preferences, and when you scroll down, there'll be this little section over here for your Facebook pixel once you set up Facebook. So it's super easy. I'm not gonna walk through it today since I'm not actually running this, but create this, make sure you link it up, and you optimize for purchases, which is just a click of a button. And after you do that, what we're gonna wanna do here is we're gonna wanna set up a few different parameters. So in this audience section, it's actually gonna tell us basically who we wanna target. So over here, if we're shipping off AliExpress, we can usually do the top 4 countries. So I would do United Kingdom, I would do Canada, and I would also do Australia over here. So those are pretty much the countries with the highest GDP, and I usually just focus on those countries. Some people like going after a bunch of countries, but I like really targeting in on the biggest countries, and then sometimes open up worldwide audiences if it does really well on these. Now over here, we could just set some of the age parameters. So I usually do 21 plus, unless it's like a younger demographic of a product, but I don't think anyone who's 18 would buy a product that's $150. Usually people over 21 have that type of money. And then I'm gonna check this detailed expansion off, because what this is gonna do, it's gonna send our ad out to more people than we're actually targeting in here. And we don't want that for now. We usually use that when we go to scale, but inside this detailed targeting section, we can actually target specific audiences. So if we come over here, we could probably type in Coachella, and we'll see if this is actually an audience on here. So yeah, Coachella Valley Music and Art Festival. So that's like a really good audience for this Raven light that we're targeting. So what we wanna do is we wanna come up here and just name it Coachella Valley Music and Arts, because what this is gonna do when we're viewing it at a bird's eye level, we'll be able to see, okay, the Coachella ad's doing really well, so let's keep this ad on. So this is just gonna simplify our life. And then we can just leave the languages on. You don't really need to narrow or exclude any audiences. Some people recommend excluding like dropshippers and AliExpress here. I don't think it's needed. Sometimes it just makes Facebook's life a little bit more difficult, and they'll raise the CPMs on that end. So we could just ignore that for now. And what we could do is we could either click automatic placements, which is sometimes advantageous, but when I test, I usually just like being in the Instagram and Facebook feed. So we can just click these two on, and then we can just get rid of stories, in-stream search. article, apps and sites, and then we're pretty much ready to go. But one thing we're going to want to do before we do that is click show more options, and then you can just look at the conversion window over here. And all you really need to know is either using the 1-day click or view. I usually stick with the 7-day click, but if you have like a cheap product, maybe you would want to try the 1-day click out. It's definitely good to test between them. I'm going to leave them at the 7-day click right now, and we can just click next, and it's going to actually take us to the ad creation. All right, so now I'm gonna walk you through the ad creation. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is name this ad. So I'm gonna name this video ad number 1 over here. And we wanna make sure the name here is consistent on every ad that we use for this video. So it's gonna make things a lot easier when we're looking from that bird's eye view. Now next over here, we can just choose what Facebook page we actually wanna show its advertising from and the Instagram page it's connected to. So I'm just using this little proxy page that I have. Usually you need to go into your business settings and actually link that page to the ad manager. But since I'm not advertising this, I'm not gonna focus on that. I just wanna show you guys how you can actually build the ad right now. Now in this ad setup, they're gonna have a few different options. There's gonna have a create ad or an existing post. It's really important that when we do create our first ad, that we link it as an existing post. So I'll show you guys how to do that in a few seconds after we finish this ad creation. So on this format section, it's gonna ask us the different types of medias we can go after. It's gonna be a single image or video ad, a carousel, which is basically a collection of images that you can scroll through, and there's a collection. Collection is used for a wider catalog. So what I'm gonna focus on now is just adding a video. So we can come over here, add media, and we can upload the video ad that we made. And it's gonna take about a second or so, so I'll be back with you guys after it's done. Okay guys, awesome. The ad has successfully been added. If we come over here, we can see that the ad is playing. This is the one that we made off InShot. So what we're gonna wanna do now is we're gonna wanna come up with some clever copy that's gonna catch their attention. So since this is a rave light, and the whole time I've been talking about how this product can like turn your house into a party, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit them with a hook, and I'm gonna say, sick of the same old boring house, turn anywhere into a party with the Raven light. And then I wanna put some emojis over here because people really like emojis. So I'm gonna look up party, and I'm gonna see this little party popper emoji, and then we can just place it in right over here. And then what I'm gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna put a couple check marks. So we can type in here check, and we use this green check marks. It really catches your attention when you are scrolling through the feed. So I'm gonna list off a couple different benefits over here. So we can go back to our product page and we can see some of the stuff we actually listed out, so we can get some inspiration on what to put here. So I'm gonna copy some of this, I'm gonna come back to our ad, and I'm gonna say, okay, so I said includes blue laser lighting, LED strobe lights, and pattern lights, so they know what they're getting immediately when they see this. And then I'm just gonna put at the end, backed by our 30-day guarantee. You're gonna absolutely love your new Raven light. Get yours here. And the reason we put our link over here, even though we're also gonna include it at this section, is because some people are gonna click it directly from the Facebook ad. So I highly recommend you go after this best practice and you just copy the type of ad structure that I used here, because it's gonna greatly improve your chance of success. Now what this headline section is, it's gonna populate over here. So we definitely wanna catch some attention in this section. So I'm just gonna put the world's best rave light. And then we can just throw an emoji over here as well. And in this description, we can use a lot of different things. So I can put 30-day refund policy, and we'll see as soon as we add the link, all the stuff that I just put will populate up. So let me paste that over here, and it should come up right here. So, okay, the world's best rave light. And if we remove this, then the description should show. So yeah, 30-day refund policy. So you can see that looks really clean when you're looking at it. And then we could either do learn more, but for today's example, I'm gonna do shop now. I usually prefer to do shop now unless it's like a medical type product. So now what we wanna do is we wanna come back to this video, and inherently you can do quite a few different things with the thumbnail. So what we can use this for is actually testing out a few different types of ad creatives. But in today's example, I'm just gonna find the thing that looks most clickbaity over here. So that looks really cool. It's like this like multicolored light. So what the thumbnail is, it's basically what's gonna show to someone when they're scrolling through the feed. So you want the most aesthetic image here that really would be like a clickbait type image. So now that we have this down, everything looks really nice. I have everything set up for a successful ad. So what we're gonna wanna do is publish it. And then it's just gonna ask some different stuff to set up our ad account if we haven't done it already. So I'm just gonna go through with this, and after I set up the card, then I'll be back with you. Okay, so now that we have our first ad set up, we're always gonna wanna make sure that we have at least another ad in that ad set. Usually I would recommend 3, but I'm gonna just set up 2 today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split test this video ad versus a standard image ad, so we can just duplicate that over here, and all of our copy that we set in should already be there. So all we need to do now is click clear video. And then we just wanna upload the image we plan to use. So I'm gonna be using this image over here. It looks really visually aesthetic. It's gonna take about a second to upload. So now that it's ready to go, we're gonna click continue, and we can just click publish again. And the reason we actually wanna test a few different ads over here is because we can't really validate the success of a product based off one ad. That's why I recommend doing at least 3. And even 3 is generally not an amazing milestone for getting data. The thing is that we want the absolute best ad when we go to advertise, is because what Facebook's gonna do is that there's this thing called CPM, and the CPM is your cost per 1,000 eyeballs that get to your eye. And the more engaging your ad is, so the longer people watch it and the more people click on your ad, it actually allows Facebook to lower your CPM because they look at you as a good advertiser. So we definitely want to always go through with the best ad. And if you test a couple ads out, one of their CPM will be drastically higher than the other one. And one of the metrics we're also focusing on here is click-through rate, which basically means how many people out of 100 click through your ad. But I'm going to be telling you what good metrics are after we publish this and we finish this whole process up. So now that we click publish on this, all we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna come back to the ad set level. And now that we have 2 separate ads inside here, we're gonna wanna click duplicate on this 4 times. When we set up CBOs, I usually like to have at least 5 ad sets in here because it's very advantageous that we test out multiple audiences so we get a broader range of data. And after we've duplicated this, we're just gonna wanna exit out. We're gonna wanna go back into the ad level by clicking edit, and we're gonna wanna scroll back to that audience selection over here, and we're gonna come into this suggestion tab over here. Facebook's made it really easy for us to actually find similar audiences to what we originally targeted. So usually we only need like 1 audience off the top of our head, and then we can come into this pool over here and we can see like, okay, there's the Ultra Music Festival, Lollapalooza, Tomorrowland. Like, I've never heard of these, to be honest. I've heard of Burning Man, but see, it just makes it so easy. Like, this is 7 million audience size. So what we can do is we can click on that one, we can copy this down, we can exit out of Coachella, and we can just name it Ultra Music Festival over here. So we would hit publish, and then we would go into each of these different ad sets over here that we duplicated, and we would want to change them with different audiences over here. So for example, this one could be Lollapalooza, this one could be Burning Man, and this one could be one of the other rave festivals over here. And then we're just gonna keep this one as Coachella Valley Music. So that would mean that we have 5 different ad sets in one campaign targeting 2 different ads. So what that's gonna do, it's just gonna give us a really broad range of data. And then one thing that we're gonna wanna make sure after we duplicated all of these is we're gonna wanna make sure that we come back to the ad level. And after you publish the ad, you can come over here and there's gonna be a little section that says go to Facebook ad. And there's gonna be a little number at the end of the browser. It's gonna be like this. It's just gonna be your ad ID. And you're gonna wanna take this, you're gonna wanna copy it, and then you're gonna wanna come to the ad setup on existing posts, and you're gonna wanna make sure that the existing post is on all of the similar ads over here. So for example, we have 5 ads over here, and we're just gonna wanna make sure that they're all being used on one ad, because what this is gonna do, it's gonna make sure all the engagement is coming on that one ad, because obviously we have 2 different ads here, the image ad and the video ad. But if we don't put this existing post in, then that image ad's gonna have 5 different ads running. So we wanna make sure that we combine these into one post. So I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions about that, then make sure to drop down in the comments and I'll be happy to help you. So now that you've launched your ad, let's talk about some good metrics that you're actually gonna be looking for. Okay, so now that your ads are launched, there's a few different metrics we're actually gonna wanna look at to analyze if our ads are doing well. So number 1, obviously, is gonna be purchases. This is gonna be the predominant metric that we're gonna be looking at, because obviously if our ads are profitable, that's a very good sign. But chances are when you're using a $50 budget, you might not get sales the first day. So another couple metrics that we're gonna look at is obviously add to carts. Add to carts will give us an indication if there's interest on our product, but this is kind of a subjective metric because sometimes you get tons of add to carts and no purchases. So I wouldn't take too much weight into this metric, but a couple other metrics that will know that you're doing well or not are click-through rate and CPM. I talked about these a little bit earlier, but basically click-through rate is how many people out of 100 click your ad. So here's like a theoretical situation. Let's say you have a 2% click-through rate and you're paying like $1 cost per click, which means that every time someone clicks on your ad, it costs you $1, which is pretty average. If you were to increase your click-through rate to 4%, technically that cost per click would be half. So you'd be paying 50 cents cost per click because Facebook's actually billing you on impressions. So this is really important to understand this concept. So if you look at your ad and you see, okay, my ad's only at like a 1.5% click-through rate, you can identify different ways to improve this. So the most common ways to improve click-through rate is looking into your ad and checking out your thumbnail. So you could obviously test out a different thumbnail. And then there's something called the scroll stopper. If you guys remember me creating the ad in the beginning, I had that video of that lady looking sad. We could actually change that clip out to something more clickbaity that could potentially catch their attention. So scroll stopper, thumbnail, and also testing out new ads are the best way to get your click-through rate up. And for example, a good click-through rate that you'd be aiming for is anything over 2 to 2.5% is pretty decent. If you're at like a 3.5%, then that's a really solid number and you have yourself a pretty decent ad. Now the other metric here that we're gonna wanna look at is CPM. CPM's the cost per 1,000 eyeballs that see your ad. So your CPM can range widely depending on what type of demographic you're going after, but generally anywhere from like $5 to $25 is pretty average. If you have anything higher than that, then you might have narrowed your audiences down too small. So that's why I always recommend going after audiences that are at least a couple million in size, because then it gives Facebook a larger data pool to play with and they're not trying to find one person out of a billion, and this is gonna really greatly improve your CPM. So those are some of the metrics you're gonna be looking at, and the way you can actually set this up in Facebook ads is there's this column section over here and they have all these different setup tools over here, but what we're gonna wanna do is click customize columns and we can just add them to our columns over here. So for example, we can type in the top CTR and this little guy's gonna pop up and we're just gonna check this off and we're gonna remove this, and we're also gonna type in CPM, and then we're gonna also wanna make sure that we have ROAS in here. ROAS is return on ad spend, and then last but not least, let's add to cart up here. There's a few different other metrics that we can put in here, but ideally these are the things that we're gonna wanna focus on mostly. And if you see these columns over here, we can actually organize these how we see fit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag the ROAS all the way to the top right under bidding strategy over here, and we can see purchase ROAS. And then what I'm also gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna put CTR right behind the budget. And then we're gonna do one last thing and put CPM right behind CTR. So what we're gonna do when we click apply is that we're gonna actually be able to see these right off the bat. So we can see, okay, bid strategy, ROAS, budget, click-through rate, CPM. And this is gonna make it so we can analyze our data a lot better because Facebook's columns aren't really optimized for e-commerce. So this will greatly improve you understanding the metrics we're actually going after. So I'm just gonna go over a couple other campaign types really quickly. So this is gonna be a little overview on retargeting ads. And this is kind of what I talked about before, being the warm audience ads. So we can come over here and we can click create. And once we get to create, there's gonna be a few different settings we could click here. Catalog sales is really cool because basically what we can do with catalog sales is that if someone views our product, then we can retarget an ad showing the image of what they just viewed right after they get off your website. So if you've ever been on any e-commerce website that has this, you'll see that exact product hit your feed and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, that's awesome. This is what I just viewed, and it will get a lot of people to come back to your website and purchase. So how we can actually set this up is just make sure to choose your catalog over here and then click continue. But okay, you can choose your catalog over here, and we can do the same thing with optimization like we chose before. I would actually leave this on the ad set level. It's gonna make our life a little bit easier. Okay, so after you come to the ad set level, what we can do over here is that we can put some different parameters in here. So obviously budget, but with retargeting, we wanna make sure our budget's a little bit smaller. So I would start out with like $5 a day. If you have a lot of traffic coming to your website, we might wanna rise this up a little bit. But one thing you might wanna note is that your CPMs are gonna be a lot higher on these catalog sales because they're actually targeting people who are prior on your website. So they have to browse through quite a bit of data, and they're serving your ads to those personalized customers. So just understand that your CPMs definitely will be higher over here. But how we can actually set up the targeting is when we scroll down, there's gonna be a few different features over here. So if you see there's viewer added to cart but not purchased. So this is a really good setting to target. So what we could do over here is we could set it to 14 days, which is definitely a good metric to target. And then you would just wanna come to automatic placements, because retargeting is usually good because they have a few different networks over here. So automatic's definitely recommended on this end. Okay, so now that you're on the ad section for the targeting, we can just put some text over here. And what I like to do with the retargeting ad is to make them know that they've already been on the website. So for example, we could come over here and say, oops, you forgot about your, so we could just put the name over here. We could put product name. Oops, you forgot your product name. And then we could put something like, don't miss out, the sale ends soon. Grab yours here. And then you can put your link in, a couple emojis where you see fit, and then you're pretty much ready to go. You just want to put your URL over here wherever you want them to go to. So if you want them to go to the product page, you can put it right here, or you could even just land them on the home page. So that's pretty much a quick overview on how to actually set up the catalog sales. But there's another type of retargeting we can actually do. So I'm going to exit out of this over here, and we can start a new campaign. And what we're going to go over here and do is click engagement. So what we can do in this engagement section is do a few things. So obviously we're going to need to set up the campaign shell like I taught you guys before. So we could name this like warm campaign viewed or added to cart. And basically we're gonna go through here and we could set it up on the ad set level as well, unless we do like a really small budget on CBO. So something like $10 a day between 5 ad sets is a really good idea for this as well. But once we get into the ad set section, we can set up a few different parameters over here. So what we can do is we can create a new audience over here, and we're gonna wanna hit custom audience, because this is where we can actually identify who we're targeting in this section. So we can come over to website, and if you see over here, we're able to create custom website audiences. So for example, Raven Lights over here, this is the pixel we created. So we can say target all website visitors over here, which is definitely a good idea. So we could test a few different audiences out over here. So we could do like 14 days, 30 days, 7 days, and 1 day. And these audiences will actually continually update. So if you set 14 days right now, this will keep refreshing in a 14-day span. So you don't need to create these again. So what we could do is name this 14-day website visitors, and then we could just create audience over here, and it's gonna populate that data for us, and we can just click done, and then we can set up the locations we wanna do. So we could set up those 4 locations that we were targeting before. We could do the same thing with age parameters, but we wouldn't wanna put any detailed targeting over here because we're already targeting people who've just visited our website. So it's really important we don't do that. And now I would leave automatic placements on as well for this one, because retargeting, we want to get as many eyeballs as we can, and wherever we can actually target them when they're browsing different websites, we'll definitely catch their attention and bring them back to our website, which is our primary goal, because now they're warm customers, and warm customers are more likely to buy. Okay, so we could come over here and we could obviously name our ad, and then what we would want to do is we would want to create a post. So ideally we would want to put an image ad or a video ad, so it'd definitely be different from the ad we did before that was targeting a cold ad. We would want it to be more like the catalog sale ad that we did before. So we would want to add our image in, and we could put some copy over here, and then we could just give them like a discount. So for example, we could make a specific discount for where they are. So like take $10 off or something in that term. So we know that they're already a warm customer. They viewed the ad. So this will just push them over the edge and get them to purchase. So I know this was like a really fast overview on retargeting, but there's still a lot to cover, and I didn't want this video to be like 3 hours. So if you guys want a more in-depth video showing warm and hot campaigns, then I'm definitely inclined to do that. Just let me know down in the comments. Alright, so for those of you who don't want to advertise with Facebook, luckily there's another way to do it, and that's going to be Instagram influencer ads. So Instagram influencer ads have changed drastically since I got into this marketplace. You used to be able to throw up low quality images and just be able to absolutely crush it on some of these pages, but the landscape has completely changed due to one reason: trust. People don't trust a lot of these brands on Instagram anymore. That's why we really need to focus on this whole branded dropshipping strategy that I've been talking about this entire time. Because I'm gonna show you guys how to find influencers, but the thing is, most influencers won't even work with your brand unless you look super trustworthy. So I recommend you only go after this strategy after you've created your Instagram page and at least worked on it for about a week to make it look a little bit professional. But after you've done that, I'm gonna show you how we can find them. So let's hop into my phone. So for today's example, and to give you some context, we're gonna be using the same product, the Rave light that we're looking at before. So what we can do over here is we can come over this tag section, and I'm just gonna type in Rave and click search. And I'm gonna click on this hashtag because it's gonna populate top creators who have used this hashtag. And what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna find some like personal brand pages. So this like a meme page. Meme pages can be okay, but I don't recommend them anymore. They don't work as well as finding an actual profile who actually goes to Raves, because people are looking at those creators as more trustworthy. So let me find one and I'll be right back. So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult, but once you actually find a page, it can be pretty easy. So I'm actually gonna click this meme page, even though I told you guys to go after a personal creator, because this one actually has tons of engagement. It's this Technodosis. So this is a really cool page that we probably do pretty well off, but obviously it doesn't have that same trust factor. So how I create an image ad for this is go back to InShot, and what we would do, the strategy would be definitely a little bit different. So I'm gonna head over to InShot and I'll show you guys how we can create those. Okay, cool. So now that we're on InShot with the product, what we could do is we could drag this image down, and what we're actually gonna do here is we're gonna try to make some type of meme out of this, because memes definitely catch people's attention. So I'm gonna go something like that, and I'm gonna say, what if this was in your home? And then I'm gonna do some hard eyes or something. And then I'm actually gonna take the label off. I don't think we need a label for this. And I'm gonna change the text to black so it shows up. This is like an example of an ad I would run on one of these pages, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, this looks really stupid and it doesn't look like it's gonna work at all, but we want it to be pretty native to the page. So if we come back to the Instagram page, we can see that they have like a lot of different videos of people dancing and stuff. So this isn't exactly native, but if this was a complete meme page, then we would probably wanna do that. But what we could do in this scenario, since we're going after like different videos over here, we could try to find on YouTube an example of this product in action and some people dancing to it, and that would be some perfect content over here. And then you would just want to send them a caption across. So usually what I would do to get a hold of them is just send them a message over here, and we would start off by putting like a fire and just click promo rates over here. Because why we want to put this first is because it catches their attention. When you're a big Instagrammer, you get tons of messages, so they'll be able to see right away this is a business inquiry. And then you could just ask them over here, like, what is your rates for story and feed posts? And then ask them to send photos of analytics, because what this is gonna do is this is gonna help us identify if this is a good creator for us to work with. Usually a good engagement rate for us to go after is about 3%. And obviously one of the ways that we can look if this is a good creator to see the recent comments and seeing how the engagement's going. So this is actually a pretty engaged page over here. But what we could do if we want to find more is just click this drop down button over here, and we can see that there's going to be all these different techno pages over here. And what we're actually looking to do is find like a real person who's into the whole rave scene. So we can see this Deborah Luca girl. Thankfully we found one. So now when we click this drop down, we can actually find all these other rave girls over here and DJs. So these are the perfect demographic for this type of product. So what we would want to do, even though it's not ideal, and I know some of you guys wouldn't want to do this, but you actually have to order the product and send it to them. And I know it's going to cost a little bit more money, but I guarantee it's going to make your ROAS a lot better, because if you have like this girl, you know, partying with the product in her room or something, people are really going to see it and think of it as a potential to buy the product, and it's going to look a lot more trustworthy because they actually have it in their hand. Like the other post ideas I showed you before really will not convert as good as what I'm telling you now. So that's why some people prefer Facebook ads, because it's more instant. But I guarantee if you actually go after some of these pages and try to create like these relationships with them, you're definitely going to be able to thrive really well. So this was like a brief overview of influencer ads. I don't want to get too in depth with it in this tutorial because what I mostly focused on today was showing you guys the Facebook ads. But if you do have any questions regarding this, then please just let me know down in the comments and I'll be happy to respond to you. Okay, so now that you have your Instagram and Facebook ads live, you probably have some orders coming in. And obviously I showed you guys beforehand how to fit Oberlo into fulfilling your orders, but this is gonna be a little bit more advanced once you start having more orders coming in. This is gonna be a better process of managing your logistics because still through Oberlo, you're gonna have to do some things manually. So what we can do is we can come over to the App Store and we can just search up Exporter. And there's this app that I've used quite a few times. It's called the Exporter Data Tool. And basically what this app's gonna do for us if we come over here is that we can set up different templates. So for example, we could say orders over here, and then we could put a description that's not needed. But they have all these different preset templates over here. So we could say all outstanding orders. We just click this over here and it's gonna ask what type of data we want. And we're just gonna keep it as order, or we could keep it as customer. I'm gonna put it as customer. And what we can do over here is that we can make sure that we have different fields in here that we want. So for example, we could come in here and click anything that's not already added. It looks pretty good. We're gonna wanna come to the addresses and make sure address 1, last name, first name, province code, address 2, country, first name, phone number, zip, and anything else that you need to fulfill the order. So city and country code are all in here. And then basically you could just make sure it's formatted right, and you could like mix and match things if you want. So if you want that to come first, then all you need to do is scroll down here. There's a lot of different data over here. Some of this stuff we can ignore. I do recommend on your first time to just read through some of these things and make sure you're doing it right. But what's really cool is if you contact this support, they'll actually set some stuff up for you. So it's a really good tool. And what we could do is we could come over here and we could put different recipients. So we could say automatic orders, and we want to put generate reports every 1 day, and we could say starting today. And then we could put different email addresses in here. So number 1, you're going to want your email address over here. But then number 2, we're going to want to find that supplier that we originally ordering from on Oberlo, and we're just going to want to click over here and contact them. But basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a template somewhat like this. I'll also put this down in the description for you, but we're just going to want to copy this over and send it off. Basically what this template's saying is like giving them an introduction, telling them that you want bulk drop shipping, explain exactly how many orders you're doing a day, and then you're gonna ask them if you can do a CSV file every day with the orders, and then ask them if you can pay through a private AliExpress link or PayPal. What the private AliExpress link will do for you is that the supplier could actually make one page that you can pay for all the orders, so it makes your life a little bit easier. And after you've gained some trust with them, they'll usually do it like every couple days, and they'll actually ship orders out beforehand, so you can just create a little bit better of a system where you don't have to continually go to Oberlo every day. And you're also going to want to get their email address, so you can come to that data exporter tool and put it over here. So every day they're just going to have those orders importing to their system, and they can handle the logistics that way. Now this obviously one way reaching out to AliExpress suppliers. I recommend you look at least for 3 or 4 and contact them. But then on the other coin, I recommend you go on Alibaba and try to search through the product and do the same thing with the suppliers on Alibaba, because sometimes Alibaba suppliers will have even better pricing and they'll be more capable to manage some of the logistics like this. So use these two in conjunction. Go on AliExpress and Alibaba. Basically, if you don't know, Alibaba is like the parent company of AliExpress, and this is where the manufacturers and the more wholesale trading factories actually are located. So it can definitely be a better process and more streamlined, but I definitely recommend that you go out and contact both of them so you can try to create a cohesive system and try to build that trust with at least one of these suppliers. Okay, so now that you have this whole system set up, you're probably gonna wanna figure out how you can focus more of your time on actually growing the business. And that's where I would go on Fiverr and I would look up something like virtual assistant over here. And this is where you can actually hire someone to actually do some customer service for you. And this isn't the best place to hire virtual assistants, but basically you'll be able to find them here. And this is good if you just have project by project basis. So $5 for 3 hours, that's pretty crazy. And then you could even do 10-hour package. So what you could do over here is you could hire them once a week for like $15, and literally that's only $60 a month that you could get your customer service handled. So I definitely recommend you use something like this because they're going to be able to literally handle all your customer service, and you're not going to have to be slaving away trying to get back to those replies. And I know a lot of people who like focusing on customer service for some reason, but trust me, you want an expert to do this and you want them to really focus on this and get them connected to your gorgeous account. And I'm sure this person would even come up with some like advantageous deal where they'll be able to work on your business like every single week on an ongoing basis. So definitely check this out once you start getting those orders in, because I see a lot of people whose customer service actually gets crushed because they don't focus on setting systems and bringing employees in to help manage the business with them. So I'm not going to go too in depth on customer service and how to set up flows and sequences in this video. That's a little bit more advanced. This was more of like a beginner course for everyone today. But there we go, guys. That's pretty much the entire free course for you guys today. I tried to cover almost everything. I know some things I went over super quickly. So if you want me to cover them more in depth, then please drop down in the comments what you feel like I missed or what you want more of. And you know, I'm always happy to bring that value to you guys. And also make sure that if you haven't already, to join our completely free Facebook group, because you can actually connect with me and other like-minded entrepreneurs who are also building their dropshipping business. So make sure you go do that right now. Click the first link in the description, and I'm also going to leave a couple other videos that you might want to check out when you're building your dropshipping business. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this free course, and I hope you guys got a ton of value because it took a ton of time to make. But anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.